Hey everybody, welcome back to Bible Fun with the Duns. Today we're studying Genesis chapter number 8. So let's get started, why don't we? So these first few chapters in Genesis, if you grew up in church, went to Sunday school, these are chapters or stories that you have absolutely heard, right? So we have the flood, we have Noah, we have his family. Yesterday, John covered Noah and his family while they were in the flood, in the ark. God was protecting them. There's a whole lot to get from that. There's a reason these stories are classics. But today, we have the end of the flood, right? And so, I just think it's really interesting. There's a whole lot we could cover right here, but kind of the main thing I want to do is just really emphasize the end right here, because I just really love it, and it really shows Noah's character and the reason that God chose him and his family. I just love it, and it really backs up what it says about him. So once they get off the ark, and by the way, the whole time they spent on the ark, it was a really difficult time. And the whole time they spent before that, probably even more difficult, right? He was trusting in God, he and his family. They were being ridiculed by literally everyone else in the entire world for building this ark. And they really had to have faith in God for years and years and years and years until they finally got all of it built. They finally got on. And then there's even this little period of time they're on the ark just by themselves and it doesn't rain, right? And so they still got to keep their faith through that. And then at the end, or once the flood starts, I should say at the beginning, God really proves himself, and Noah and his family no longer look stupid because they're the ones that are surviving. And so everyone else is swept away by the waters because they did not have, they were wicked, first of all, but they didn't have the faith or the trust in God to get up on the ark. So Noah and his family are the only ones that survive. So they float 40 days, 40 nights, ridiculously long time, right? So they're probably going through a lot, haven't seen the sun, dealing with things they've never seen before, like rain. This is the first time it's actually ever rained. And this is kind of crazy for the first rain, right? The whole world flooded. That's interesting. That doesn't happen every day. We're actually going to get into how that'll never happen again. But anyway, they're on that ark 40 days, 40 nights. The rain finally subsides, and they're waiting for everything to clear out, right? Eventually, the water comes down, the water dries up, and Noah and his family get out. And what they do immediately is Noah builds an altar, and he sacrifices to God. He thanks him for everything that he's done, everything he's done to get them through this, how he's kept his promises, how he's favored his family, how he's loved them, and how he hasn't forgotten about them. I just love that, right? Shows us so much about God's character, and it also shows us a lot about Noah's character, like I was talking about earlier. Noah is a man who loves God, and he recognizes that all of his blessings come from God. Even the curses that God sends down, God does not forget about him, and he sees that as blessings that God would put him through that. And through that time, I guarantee they got closer together in their relationship with each other. And so through that time, Noah really trusted in God, and his faith was strengthened so much through that. And so it's just one of those things when God puts you through hard times. What it does is it grows you, and it helps you, helps build your faith and strengthen you into a much stronger Christian than you were going into whatever you went into, right? And so kind of reading through this, my mind kind of drew a parallel that I'd never really seen before. But there's this story in the New Testament, and that's what I'm going through right now in my personal Bible reading. But Jesus, he's going around in the Gospels, and of course he's doing all these miracles. He's showing everybody that he is God incarnate, and he's healing so many people. And one of my favorite stories that stuck out to me lately is these 10 paralytics, right? Not paralytics, I'm sorry. 10 lepers. Leprosy, like we've talked about it many times on this channel. Leprosy is pretty much like a death sentence back then. Like it's horrible. It's pretty much the worst news you can receive from a doctor. And because of the hygiene that they were commanded to have, they had to, without modern medicine, they had to quarantine until they got rid of it. And a lot of people didn't get rid of it. And so that quarantining looked like being away from friends, family, pretty much everybody they knew that was clean. So they're outcasts of society. Jesus is walking by. He sees these 10 lepers, And they look at him and they say, Jesus, Jesus, please heal us. He goes up to him, he heals them. So they all go to the priest, and they find him, and so he looks over them, he declares them clean. The rest of them, 9 of them, they all go and find their families, and it's a great day, best day of their lives. They're so happy. But one person, before he goes back to his family and friends, he goes to Jesus and he thanks him, because he knows that without Jesus, none of this could have happened. And so I really admire him in this story, because he recognizes that Jesus is the one who gives him he's the one who gives him his blessings. In the New Testament, it also tells us all blessings are from God. And so that's very much an example of that during Jesus' time. But we go back all the way to the very first book of the Bible, the 8th chapter, right here. We see that same exact thing happening. We see Noah's gratitude for God's blessings, Noah's gratitude for God seeing him and not forgetting about him. And even in the heat of all this excitement and the hustle of let's get off the boat and see the earth that we haven't seen in 40 days, instead of doing all this stuff that they missed, or even building a life, Noah takes time and he recognizes what is most important. And so he builds an altar and he thanks God. And that is my biggest takeaway from this. And that is honestly so admirable. I love to see that. I love to see priorities in Scripture. These people who have such strong relationships with God, I love to see how it really overflows through them. And my prayer for myself and for you guys as well is that we can that God can take that same priority in our lives, so that He's so important that in everything good we don't immediately celebrate. It here for ourselves and with others. Instead, we go to God and we thank Him for what He's given us, because all blessings come from God and they come from heaven. So anyway, that's what I got from this chapter. I hope you enjoyed it. We'll see y'all tomorrow in the next one, and I know it's going to be great. All right, bye.